Right, good morning everyone. Thank you very much to see you all here. It looks fantastic turnout for this conference this morning. My name is Ed Mills-Webb from Clyde & Co. We are very proud to be involved in this event with DYNAMARINE, with Jakos as our lead sponsor for the event, and for all the other first-class speakers that we have for you today, and the debate that we're going to have on the safety issues surrounding the technical issues and the commercial issues surrounding STS transfers. It is a topic that is extremely dear to our hearts at Clyde & Co, not least because STS transfers is something that crosses my desk far more regularly than you might expect and gives rise to a number of legal claims which we are very pleased to get involved in. That is why we got involved on this cooperation with DYNAMARINE several years ago, was because we perceived as a law firm that there was a lack of focus perhaps and a lack of awareness, mainly in the London market, not in the technical market. I have no doubt that the ship owners and the ship operators know what they're doing, but the industry in STS has grown to such an extent that things are happening all the time, new developments, new challenges at sea, and that increasingly the legal framework is lagging behind. We hope to have some good debate today to share with you our thoughts. On behalf of everybody who's speaking, I'd also really encourage everyone to put up their hands, get involved, let's have a debate. We are not just here to lecture, we are here to listen to you guys as well. Two very boring points of order. Firstly, for those of you who haven't already found the restrooms, they are just outside to the right. I am told that the door should be open, but if for any reason you get stuck, I think the code is 1234. That's not my PIN number as well, but you'd never guess it. Secondly, should the fire alarm go off, I believe the procedure is that we only have to evacuate if it goes off on the second ring. Don't use the lifts, the stairway downstairs on this floor, and everyone congregates outside, but touch wood, the fire alarm won't go off, but there we go, I've cursed it now. As I said, we hope to have a fantastic day and look forward to hearing the debate and participating with you. I'd like to hand over to Claudine Sharp, our chairperson, to get us underway. But thank you very much.
Good morning, and just to add to Ed's welcome, thank you, Ed, for the brief introduction. Today is a very full day, so we would like a lot of interaction if we can. It's a very passionate subject to quite a lot of us in this room for different reasons and for different backgrounds. So we'd very much welcome a lively debate, but we are very restricted time-wise, so I would like you just to be considerate of that. Additionally, we will have web questions coming through from our web streaming, so we will try to make a mix of those and the floor questions. Just a few bits of information. Obviously, if you have a look at the brochure, it's split into 3 sections. The first section will be essentially around the framework and about STS itself. The second section, which will be after the coffee break, will be about liabilities. And no doubt that will be a very heated and active discussion, so please make it so. Then after the lunch break, we will be coming back for the STS operations and equipment, and that will last us through, basically through the afternoon. We'll have a coffee break, and we're looking to finish at about 5 o'clock after further discussions and a drinks reception downstairs. I would welcome all of you, if I can again, please participate as much as you can. If I see your hands, I'll try and indicate and get your cooperation with that. So, without further ado, I'd like to welcome thank you again for our sponsors, in particular Jakos Columbia Ship Management, Clyde & Co. and UK P&I for your sponsorship here. Media, thank you very much for Tanker Operator, Tanker Shipping and Trade, and Minimar. We're very appreciative of all the support within this forum. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Captain Drosos, Managing Director of Jakos Columbia Ship Management, Captain Drosos is a mariner by background. Coming ashore, he served in many senior roles, including chief executive in previous companies, managing companies' activities in tanker operations. As of January 2014, Captain Drosos has undertaken the post of Managing Director in Charcos Columbia Ship Management, and will be speaking to us about the risk of STS operations. So please welcome Captain Drosos.
Thank you very much. Good morning to all. I would like to thank DYNAMARINE for the opportunity that has been given to us to present some areas of concern, to present how we operate and how we perform ship-to-ship operation, and I'm pretty sure that most of the areas that we will present are followed by most prudent technical managers. And the main background of this presentation is to initiate a discussion between industry, between technical managers, oil majors, ship-to-ship providers, and have a productive discussion. So we operate around 60 vessels from DP shuttle tankers, Suezmax, Aframaxes, all size of tankers. We have identified Aframaxes, Suezmaxes, the main vessels that perform ship-to-ship operations in South Africa, United States, and Singapore area. Our major clients are mainly oil majors. There are some dry cargo charters which we don't have ship-to-ship transshipment. During 2015, we have performed 88 ship-to-ship operations without any reported incident. We might have minor near misses that are dealt with the internal process of the HSQE department. We support near misses. We want to have as much as possible, small or big, investigate them, and to identify the root causes in order to avoid an incident. 2015, we have taken the decision, all our ship-to-ship transshipment, to have a detailed assessment in accordance to the in-house principles that it has been set to the management reviews. This diagram depicts where we stand. During 2015, we have performed 100% assessments in all the ship-to-ship operation we performed. You may see Q3 having more assessments from the ones performed, and this is due to instruction we received from the charterers, and finally the ship-to-ship operation were cancelled for reasons outside of our control, but we were obliged to perform the risk assessments and to define the risk element of those operations. Element of risk is varying from vessels' technical specifications. There we are analyzing length overall and all the areas that needs to be analyzed in order to secure the safe operation. The ship-to-ship equipment, which in some occasion we don't have the authority or we don't have the background to ask the ship-to-ship providers, apart from some certification of the hoses or the fenders. We have to admit that we have faced, in some occasions, problems with visual checks of the hoses for the transshipments, although the vessels and the ship-to-ship provider provides us the certification or the pressure tests of the hoses. However, the visual checks of our crew members don't allow us to proceed with the operations. We have two occasions as such where commercial pressure was opposed to us, but we denied the operation since the consequence would be a harm to the environment, pollution, and we cannot accept that as such. The personnel of overall advice control, we try to have the best relationship through the established procedures, clearly defining in the ship-to-ship manual of our company. The human factor, and this involves our crew members as well, and the competence of those, which it's our obligation to secure our clients that our crew members have the adequate knowledge of ship-to-ship operation, and other external factors such as local STS regulations and areas that are particularly involved in the region that we're performing the ship-to-ship operations. Mitigation measures. We have the OCIM ship-to-ship checklist and the guidelines, and we would like to highlight that those are guidelines which I'm sure that as we do, all of us are following. We are setting and we are evaluating the past ship-to-ship performance of our crew members of the vessel that is engaging our vessel, the ship-to-ship operation, plus the vessel that is approaching us. The statutory class and P&I club risk, we are requesting prior to the operation to have the certification of the other vessel class and the P&I club. Although initially in this stage I would like to highlight that we were asking to approve the other vessel, and our legal department and underwriters told us that we don't have the authority and the word approval is not the appropriate one, since in case that something will go wrong, we will be entitled to get in the process to give explanation for areas that it's not under our control. The vessel post-state control performance, we are subscribers in RightShip database in order to be able to monitor the other vessels' post-state control performance, to see the crew members' performance and the observation arising from post-state control, the manager's overall post-state control performance, and the crew familiarization and experience. This is not a paper exercise, it's an exercise performed internally by two captains of ours that have been appointed as ship-to-ship operation approvals. So without those two signatures, the operations are not allowed to proceed with the ship-to-ship operation. And as per our record, the 88 ship-to-ship performance that we have performed last year is considered to be effective and efficient. Further mitigation measure is risk assessment, during which we don't follow the library approach. We have a library of ship-to-ship we have a library of risk assessment. In the chapter of ship-to-ship, although we have the basic risks involved in the ship-to-ship operations, we consider that the library approach shouldn't be followed. So each operation should evaluate the risks involved in accordance to the weather conditions, to the crew members we have on board, and the other vessel that is approaching our vessels. The pre-operation checks, in accordance to the guidelines, is strictly followed, since it's part of the commercial agreement as well, the charter parties, that we are obliged to follow the OCIM's ship-to-ship guidelines. Those checklists are, in accordance to our experience, are considered to be mitigation measures, although in some areas that we will discuss, we receive a positive checklist without the other vessel being able to fulfill or to prove to us that the areas that are ticked as yes are as such. So we consider that it's a mitigation measure that helps us to identify the risk involved in these operations. The ship-to-ship provider organizer is evaluated in accordance to our own database. DYNAMARINE has helped us quite significantly the last year to give us their database, their knowledge, without defining in some areas, let's say, confidential information, the names, but they are giving us the risk element of the information that we are providing them. Our training facility, which is considered to be our jewel of our technical management, and I want to be specific on this area, we believe to proactiveness. We consider that there are three areas: proactiveness, reactiveness, and activeness. We give particular attention to proactive approach. We have identified internally in our fleet which vessels are considered to be the ones performing the most ship-to-ship operations, and we have established a training course which give to all senior officers the ammunition to deal with ship-to-ship operations. And the last discussion I had with a master that has passed this training course was the way we present the ship-to-ship operation in our training. No master will want to get involved in ship-to-ship operations. And from my perspective, this was a positive announcement, let's say, since we want our crew members, our masters, to have the concern required in order to avoid a collision, to avoid property damage, which eventually will have commercial harm, since all of us will know a condition of class to our class record might have a rejection from oil major, small or big. The confidence, the parties involved, cargo owners and operators and charterers, we need them to be next to us, to motivate our master in case that disengagement, or if he doesn't feel confident, to abandon a ship-to-ship operation. And current build of the master confidence. We have to admit that although we are promoting as technical managers, operators, this approach, we have a good percentage and understanding of charterers in case that we don't wish to proceed with the operation due to evident risks that cannot be mitigated, not 100%. And all of us, we know that in some occasions commercial pressure might bring a technical manager in a situation that will accept a ship-to-ship operation. However, from our side, we don't consider this approach as prudent, and we are there to guarantee to the owner that his reputation will be sustained. Tanker operation us to take all the measures required in order to secure the safety of the vessel, the crew, and the environment. Service provider, we rely in service provider, as we have discussed, and it's not only the equipment, but it's the competence of the crew on board of the other vessel. Our master, we need to highlight that from our perspective, we are there not to instruct the master, we are there to support the master and our crew members. It's our mentality and our beliefs. So all of us being on board the vessels and being involved in ship-to-ship operation may understand the pressure that the master might have by being in the actual operation, looking at the weather or the condition of the other vessel, so we need to be next to him. If we fulfill all those four elements, we have achieved our goal, ensuring safety. If something from those elements are not followed, the goal has not been achieved, and it's an operation in the red region of the risk assessments. So this is a snapshot of what we have discussed with the four elements or four pillars, as we consider them, of a successful ship-to-ship operation. It's a challenge and needs to be, all mitigation measures must be there to support crew members, reputation, and property. We have taken out from some charter party clauses that, as appears in the majority of the charter party, charterers will provide the lightering fenders, hoses, and any other equipment deemed necessary by charterer. As this clause is determined, it might be considered that the crew responsibility relies to the charterers for the ship-to-ship operation. However, in order to ensure the safe operation, we need to have all proper clarifications or assurances that the equipment and all involved parties are in accordance to our procedure, our beliefs, and our standards. Lightering to be conducted always in accordance with OCIM's guidelines. We have occasions that, although all paperwork defines that are in accordance to OCIM's guidelines, the actual situation is not as such. Commercial pressure might apply, but it's something that cannot be compromised. This is a short presentation of ours. I'm open for any question of how we deal with ship-to-ship operations. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think there's 2 points. There's one legal and, of course, one safety. Everybody knows when you approach the tanker where the DOC will be on board, when we have one leg step on the pilot ladder and one on the boat, something goes wrong. Insurance-wise, who is both responsible? You have a leg on the supply boat and on the vessel. Secondly, many of those, I assume you probably south of here in the Mediterranean, in Suez, the boat to provide the STS superintendent is not even near a standard of a pilot boat. And many captains, I don't say all, but many captains is very reluctant to give up the anchor and make a proper lead.
Or even with the anchor down.
Yeah, but you say you have to make a risk assessment. And I have seen many fora actually highlighted this one here, that actually there is no standard for the boat providing the STS superintendent.
Yes, you're 100% right. Not all over, in Loop, United States, we have to admit, not in all areas. You have determined some areas that I totally agree with you, that the boats bringing on board the superintendents might not be to the standards that we, or most of us, considered as appropriate. However, the risk assessment, I want to be straightforward and honest. For this occasion, we don't have an element in order to evaluate the risk. From our side, I was on board the vessel and I have experience, an example as such. We changed the course of the vessel, we leaned, and since it was at that occasion safely, to the boat, because it's a boat, it's not to approach and ensure the safety of the person coming on board, we did it. Insurance-wise, whatever it's outside of our rails might not be under our responsibility.
No, but I don't agree, because when a tugboat, purposely or by accident, he hit your vessel, the vessel is responsible.
It's a dispute, this one. It's not, I don't agree 100% with you, but yes, you get in a dispute to prove whose fault is for the tugboat, for the damage that the tugboat occurred in my vessel.
As it's, excuse me, sorry, as it's a liability question, do you think it might be worthwhile waiting till after the break when we've got more people who are qualified for those sorts of questions?
Yeah, but the P&I standard is very clear that the vessel will always be responsible, regardless which fault it is. Usually this with the front and then the vessel can leave. But now we're talking STS operation.
Mhm.
Basically, they are all OPL.
Yes.
And we have a lot of things here which required by the vessel, scrubbers, bits on the vessel, position library. But I think for the own proposal that there always will be very stringent requirement for the boat providing the STS superintendent.
Definitely. It's a good point.
I think it's a very valid question, and I think maybe it's one we can readdress after the coffee break when we have more of our legal eagles around to come back on the comment, and it'll give them a chance to prep on it as well. Can I ask with questions, can you just advise who you are and where you're coming, what company you're representing when you do ask questions, just so we know who to contact if we need to get back to you. Any more questions from the gentleman?
Bill Watts from Tanko. You mentioned right at the end commercial pressure. Could you give an example of something that might affect? What would be a common commercial pressure?
Commercial pressure, I refer to a denial in accordance to a risk assessment or acceptance from our side, the other vessel to approach due to weather condition, due to certification issues of the other vessels, due to not the other party not being able to give us all the clarifications that it's needed in order to pass the process, our internal process for clearance. And as you can understand, commercial pressure relies on the brokers or charterers giving us, we provide the reasons, which are clearly justified, but they need the cargo to be transferred. And we insisting, or mostly the weather conditions, where we deny the operation to take place, because all mitigation measures opposed from our side are not enough to secure the safety of the operation. And yes, there you need to be precise, to insist, and in some occasion, to have patience enough to convince a commercial side that we're not doing it in order to create problems. We're doing it in order to secure the shipper's cargo and our property, and finally our reputation. We're not there to gamble with issues that have safety impact at our fleet.
John Farag, all about shipping. What is your KPI, on this operation, and how do you improve it in comparison with others, and of course the commercial pressures, which of course they apply very much.
Key performance indication for ship-to-ship operation, we don't have as such. We have.
You have one?
It's a nice discussion, but we have LTIs, we have KPIs, which eventually have an impact on the ship-to-ship operation, indirect. So I am open for a discussion to set a KPI for ship-to-ship operation, but what the formula will be. For my perspective, incidents, it's zero. Our target is zero. Relies on crew well-being, pollutions, etc. But we have key performance indicators defining the quality standards that we represent, because key performance indicators for us are indicators for improvement. We don't consider that we are the very best. We want continuous improvement, and we strive for continuous improvement. But I will. It's a nice question. I need my committee to discuss, and my HSQ guys, and why not set a key performance indication for ship-to-ship. However, we cover this operation through other, not one KPI, that has indirect impact, let's say, to the performance of ours.
Just because we use the same tool, DYNAMARINE for this. So we have introduced the DYNAMARINE's KPIs as our KPI. So since the DYNAMARINE provides full statistics and KPIs for our ship performance other ships, how other ships evaluate our ships, incident reporting, everything. So KPIs, to my opinion, are there, and we use the same.
The statistics we gave you was from the KPI sent from DYNAMARINE and are used as a management tool. However, we consider as key performance indicator our in-house developed KPIs, which have impact to directly in the management reviews where the decisions are taken for the next year. Yes, we are doing the same. However, we have not incorporated in our internal KPI system DYNAMARINE's, but we are using the same approach. We take the feedback.
Did you want to say something, Alex?
No, thank you.
I'm from ships. When FSOs and barges are proposed for STS, have you seen them? Because many of them doesn't have required certification.
Yes.
And coastal ships also. So how do you assess those ships when you're clearing the vessels?
This is through other risk assessment. We cannot have the same risk assessment that we are using with Aframax vessels. We have a barge, ship-to-ship operation with smaller vessels, which has the elements and the analysis required in accordance with the operation we perform. In this occasion, and you brought me an incident that we had, which was not analyzed, is lately we have identified that we steamed 1,500 tons of fuel oil on board for an Aframax vessel. At the time of the steaming, we placed the order. We thought that it was a bunker barge. And it's more frequently identified that MRs are utilized for as bunker barges. We as technical managers, we don't know the vessel or the barge, but when we drop anchor, the captain calls the agents, and suddenly he sees an MR approaching, and it was a nice case because he thought that we are going for a collision. Our vessel was at anchor. And when he came in communication with him, he said, "No, I'm the bunker barge." And the master was, "Yes, you are a MR vessel, you know." And there we had it wasn't in the 88 ship-to-ship operation. We are discussing with DYNAMARINE to start evaluating bunkering operations as ship-to-ship operations. But there we need the assistance of the bunker provider to give us all the feedback required in order to be able to initiate the ship-to-ship risk process. But lately, from our perspective, from our experience, we have identified 2015, Q4 of 2015, that we are facing a risk in bunkering operations since barges are not approaching, but vessels are approaching. And it's an area that needs to be discussed.
Michael Quain, Quain Marine, Cyprus.
Yep.
On the last slide you put there, you put an extract from charter parts. Charterer will provide all the equipment as deemed necessary by the charterer. Do you ever have any issues with charterers of them trying to save costs by providing STS service providers with poor quality equipment or poor quality services, something that would not be up to the standards that you would require?
We have in West Africa a region. That's why it's a regional, from where, as I have said, the vessel, good weather conditions, the vessel we approached, everything safe, everything perfect. We connected the hoses, and the visual inspection of the hose to be transferred was not following the pressure test certificate that were presented to us. And we abandoned the operation there once more. Commercial pressure. Why? No, because disengagement and engagement, it's an operation, it has a cost. Yes, we had. last year that we said, no, we will not proceed with the operation due to the poor quality, and we were not able to tick in our risk assessment that equipment are in accordance to standards. However, certifications were there, pressure tests were there, but we cannot gamble with safety and our reputation.
So commercially then, once you've taken that decision, what happens with the
3 days after, they changed the hose. We had a discussion, we explained, they were not satisfied with us, to be honest with you. And, but we are proud that, you know, we took this decision. 3 days after, they changed the hose. With, no, we weren't paid the marriage. There it's, you know, it's, yes, we lost income. But if something would happen, pollution, independently in West Africa, United States, we would lose far more than 3 days demarriage. No, we are not. The charter for the quality as defined. However, we cannot close our eyes as prudent technical manager and owners. So insurance-wise, if something would happen, we would, the P&I Club or the underwriters will cover the whatever amount that would be. However, we cannot close our eyes. It's not an insurance issue, it's a safety issue, and in accordance to our mentality, where the hierarchy of our decision is human element, environment, property. This is how we evaluate. We cannot, since we are insured, we are covered, someone else with reputation, our beliefs cannot be jeopardized.
There was a lady at the back.
Yes, ourselves, we have through our training center, we are doing the best that we can. Through DYNAMARINE as well, we are presenting them condition surveys of hoses provided from reputable ship-to-ship operation. They have provided us what to check and how to see it. We are not responsible, but directly, but indirectly we feel that we are responsible to secure the safety and as carrier of the cargo to deliver the cargo to the consignees as loaded.
Sorry, there was a lady at the back.
I'm not able to.
Sorry, can you speak up? Yeah.
I don't have such experience, to be honest with you. It might, some other occasions it might, but from our side I cannot answer because, you know, I don't have the experience as such. Thank you.
Sir?
I'm Captain Kudredi from Dorian LPG. My question is with regard to the mooring operations during darkness.
During?
Darkness, that is in when daylight restrictions and darkness. So many charter parties don't clearly state that whether mooring operations are can be done during darkness or
Yes.
during the night hours. So of course this all depends upon the experience of the master.
Exactly.
For the maneuvering of the ship, of course within the support, with the support of the superintendent. So how do you see that? Is it that we can agree with the risk assessment, or we can deny to perform an STS during darkness and leave it for the next working day when daylight?
We don't endeavor a ship-to-ship operation during darkness. However, we don't deny it. Once more, you have highlighted risk assessment, experience of the master. We are performing through our training center simulator night ship-to-ship approaches as mitigation measures. We don't endeavor it, we don't deny it. If the risk assessment and we feel confident that we are able to do it by securing safety, yes, we are proceeding, performing nighttime. There are other companies saying no, and we respect that. However, our position is clear. We try to avoid it. However, we must be reasonable, and commercial pressure that we have discussed. We must understand that commercial links as well, they have their own concerns, and so we are not enemies. We're together. We're one team, and we need to understand each other. So if, in accordance with the risk assessment, the risk is the one that it should be, we go for it.
Can I come there for a minute?
Definitely.
Just because you're coming from the LPG operators, just to make clear that it's not only related to the owners or the charterers. LNG and LPG operators cannot actually cross estuaries nighttime. We are very much to sort of follow the Port Authority requirements, and the majority of Port Authorities worldwide would not allow nighttime operations involving LNG and LPG vessels.
Yeah. In many parts of the globe, they don't allow, but there are certain areas like in...
If you're near shore, if you're aware from Port Authority sort of waters...
It is OPL, but then it's out of the jurisdiction of the port.
If you're outside the jurisdiction of the port, obviously there's another aspect. Coast Guard has something to do there. You could apply risk assessment techniques. It's much related, obviously, between owners and charterers, and how you would apply it. But still, legal issues have a major play, and legal issues relate to Coast Guard or the legislation of the country that actually the territorial waters operation would take.
Yes.
Yeah, one last one, please.
I'm Alex Glikas from DYNAMARINE. Just to make a quote, that there is a contractual commitment that you should follow, and this OKIF guidelines is there. So you have to follow OKIF guidelines in that respect. So if you want to commit, the STS operation, then you need to make a proper risk assessment, and in order to do so, you need to have assessment data. So the more statistical data and assessment data you have about 9 STS operations, that will enforce your risk assessment, and that will assist your decision in order to proceed further or not. Okay. If it's safe, if we have safe past data and the data show that it's a safe operation, then why not? As long as your master is confident, as well as the mooring master is confident to proceed, then why not?
Sorry, we are going to have to move on. However, there's some very, very good questions. If we don't cover them in the next sessions, can I ask you to write them down and hand them to us? And what we'll do at the end of today, we'll collate them and ask the appropriate people and get those circulated in some way possible. Can we please
Thank you very much.
Captain Drosos.
Yeah.